And I said I would pick up with the line about the line that says, "Move in my tall greenness." So sometimes when references to colors are made, we want to think about not the most obvious meanings that jump out at us. So the word green is very interesting, and I'm going to pull up the Merriam-Webster dictionary and just kind of examine some of those meanings. So of course there's the actual color, like foliage, pleasantly alluring, youthful, vigorous, not ripened or matured, fresh or new, envious, deficient in training, knowledge, or experience, or naive. Okay, so those are all interesting associations that we might make with this poem. We could consider that he's standing there in like green grasses, and they're tall. So he's kind of hidden there. Or maybe he felt like he couldn't move, because he would draw attention to himself. But also I like to think about the other meanings of the word green. Green meaning young and naive. He's standing there, kind of mesmerized, but maybe a little scared too, because he doesn't want to get caught. And also he's enjoying watching her, so it makes me think he's rather young. Maybe he's a young teenager. I think also, I will back up and look at some other ideas that we've already considered, but we have this idea of the Black Baptists 100 yards away, which is quite a distance. I mean, they probably couldn't see her clearly, and she couldn't see them. But they are dunking white-robed boys and girls. And then we have this contrast with, him standing there, and he appears to, or seems to be kind of suggesting his own naivete or youth. So we have, this relationship of the white-robed boys and girls being dunked or being baptized in the creek, and Salome swimming naked in the creek. It was like total opposites there, right? And then he's like standing there on the banks. Let's see if there's anything else I want to point out before I move on. Okay. So if anything else occurs to me, I'll come back and kind of address that information. And then the next line, a water snake crawled along the stunted oak that grew half in water, half in earth. So if you haven't considered some of the imagery that's going on here, well, probably if I were teaching this in class, I would ask you guys about the associations that you make with water. And water, I think I've mentioned this in class before, water is one of those archetypes. I mean, we have this archetype sort of being brought out in the poem more obviously with the concept of baptism, but the idea of renewal, cleansing, that sort of idea. So we have a snake here, a water snake. Who knows what it is? I mean, it could be a water moccasin, I don't know. But a water snake, and we have associations with snakes as well. I think it's interesting that we have the sort of the juxtaposition of the baptism going on, and then we have the snake, which is kind of a loaded image, if you're thinking about Christianity. So a water snake crawled along the stunted oak that grew half in water, half in earth. There's something interesting about that oak, that it's half in water, it's half in earth. Other associations that we make with water might include just ideas of spirit. Water is associated with intuition and spirit, and earth is kind of more like literal. If you're grounded in more earthly things versus more spiritual things. So we have this oak that's kind of half in water and half in earth. Now, oaks also have associations. I would have to look those up, but I know that they are associated with some mythologies. There's certain significance given to them, so probably it's the potential exists for a lot more to be opened up in this poem if I were to investigate the symbolism of the oak tree. And I'm going to pause there, and I will start a new video with probably half an earth. I knew